about Psyche, which is an ongoing NASA mission that's supposed to explore an asteroid. I'll tell you all about that. So the asteroid Psyche has remained largely a mysterious point of light in the distance. It was discovered in 1852 by an Italian astronomer, Annibale de Gasparis, who named it after the goddess of the soul in ancient Greek mythology. It's around 140 miles, or 226 kilometers across, and its surface area is 64,000 square miles. For a comparison, North Carolina is about 48,000 square miles. And it orbits the sun every 5 years, and its radius is 68 miles. Now, the composition is likely rich in metal, and it's actually the densest known asteroid that we have found. And recent data suggests that 30 to 60% of its volume is metal. However, there are other elements that are either rock or silicate. Now, why is Psyche so special? So the reason that the Psyche mission is actually special is because it helps scientists understand how planets and other bodies are separated into layers, including cores, mantles, and crusts. So you see here, NASA's Psyche spacecraft is inside of a clean room at the Astrotech Space Operations Facility near the agency's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. So the key goals of the NASA Psyche mission are to determine whether Psyche is a core or if it is on melted metal, and to determine the relative ages of the regions on Psyche's surface. Another goal is to also determine whether small metal bodies incorporate the same light elements as are expected in the Earth's high-pressure core. And another goal is to determine whether Psyche was formed under conditions more oxidizing or more reducing than the Earth's core. And lastly, to characterize Psyche's topography. Now, here are the key hardware and tools that are being used in this mission. So first of all, here you have a magnetometer, you have a gamma ray and neutron spectrometer, and multispectral emitters. And now, here's the Psyche mission. The launch was actually delayed several times, and it happened from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida on October 13th at 10 to around 7 p.m. From 10 a.m. to around 7 p.m. via a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. And the $1.2 billion mission is expected to reach the asteroid in 2029. The mission was originally expected to launch in 2022, but it was delayed due to issues with its navigational software. Psyche was chosen in 2017 alongside the Lucy mission, which launched in 2021. It will visit Jupiter's Trojan asteroid and study the origins of giant planets by looking at the fragments left over from their formation. And now here's the expected mission timeline. As you can see here, the Psyche mission has actually already launched from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida on a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. And in March to May of 2026, it's actually going to fly by Mars to essentially take a little bit of its gravity in order to slingshot it out to the asteroid belt where Psyche is located. And on August 2029, it is expected that the spacecraft will enter orbit around the asteroid after a journey of about 2.2 billion miles. Alright, and leading the Psyche mission is Arizona State University, which is the home institution of Principal Investigator Lindy Elkins Stanton, and the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. And NASA's also more mission partners are NASA's Jet Propulsion Library, which is a division of Caltech in Pasadena, California, which is responsible for the mission's overall management, systems engineering, integration and testing, and operations. And Maxar Technologies delivered the solar electric propulsion chassis, which is the main body of the spacecraft and most of its engineering hardware systems. NASA's Launch Services Program at the Kennedy Space Center will already manages launch operations. And Psyche is the 14th mission selected as part of NASA's Discovery Program, which is managed by the agency's Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville, Alabama. Now, where are we now? So, a space mission typically has 6 phases, A through F. The Psyche mission is currently in phase E, where it's cruising towards the asteroid, which is going to include the gravity assist from Mars, where it will arrive at the asteroid and orbit the asteroid. Here are some recent updates. On December 4th, the mission turned on Psyche's twin cameras and retrieved the first images, which is a milestone that was called the first light. Psyche's first light images make up this mosaic here, showing a star field in the constellation Pisces. The brightest star seen here is called Mu Pisces, seen at the far right and labeled Mu Tissue. On December 11th, the technology built into the spacecraft Deep Space Optical Communication System beamed an ultra-high-definition streaming video from a recording setting 19 million miles away, or about 80 times the Earth-Moon distance. The milestone is part of a NASA technology demonstration aimed at streaming very high-bandwidth video and other data from deep space, which can enable future human missions to do so beyond Earth's orbit. And the demo transmitted the 15-second test video via a cutting-edge instrument called a flight laser transceiver. The video downloaded in Caltech's Palomar Observatory in San Diego took 101 seconds to launch to reach Earth, set at the system's maximum bit rate of 267 megabits per second. And here is a graph. You can see where Psyche will arrive here in August of 2029, which I mentioned earlier. You can see that currently the Psyche is somewhere right here. Like, you can see the trajectory of where it's at right now. All right, the end.